Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Movie Grade. I'm joined here today with.
Jay Anderson, a manager at PWL.
And I am Victor E. of Modern Myth Comics.
Thank you guys for joining us, guys. It's always a privilege to have you guys. And Victor, I'm happy to see that you're doing better. We had to be in a little hiatus because we had Victor down, and timetables didn't line up. So sorry for the brief hiatus, but we're back. All right, so this weekend we had the opportunity to catch Alien Romulus, the sci-fi, I guess, horror film franchise that continues with aliens. So if you guys get a chance to see it, if you guys didn't get a chance to see it, we're going to tell you what we think about it before you go to the theaters and watch it. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this movie. Let's go with our first impressions of the movie. So, first impressions of the movie. I found it, it was nice that they brought back the whole franchise together and getting the chance to see those face huggers, the xenomorphs and everything was just like, wow, we get to see these guys again. So it's nice. It's a nice surprise. If you're not aware, this is one of the sequels after Aliens, the second one. So at least that's how it's supposed to be on the timetable.
It's set between Alien 1 and 2.
Oh, is it?
Technically 20 years after Alien.
Oh, okay. I thought it was after Alien, the second
the
one.
Timeline's like Alien. You get Alien's Isolation, which is a video game, which is 15 years after. That stars the daughter of... The playable character is the daughter of Ripley. And then this is 20 years after Alien.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for setting that up for us, Victor. So, first impressions on this movie, I liked it. It was a lot of fun. It was great to have those pop-up scares happen again, because I think that's what I feel that Aliens is like a master of, is those pop-ups. How did you feel about this, guys?
Honestly, my first impressions were kind of a bit of a mixed bag. Going into the movie, watching the movie as it was playing through, I felt really great. It felt like a great homage to the original, almost like I was visiting an old friend. And without giving too much away, by the end of the movie, I realized that my old friend got really, really weird. I don't think I liked what my friend was doing while I was away. That's my first impressions of this film.
Honestly, it might be my second favorite film of the year, after Dune Part 2, where it's directed by Fede Alvarez. Sorry if I mispronounced that. A great horror director I love the way he can honor a franchise but put his own twist on it.
Mm-hmm. Next on top of that is, I guess, let's go ahead and jump right into the acting of the film. There was a lot of. I know there was one of those things that was common, and personally, I want to actually give a shout out to this main character who was one of the main characters, which is basically an android, and the actor who portrayed that android, he has this shift that happens onto him, and it is masterful. Watching him go into literally two different personalities. So I want to go ahead and just say wow to that guy. That actor, to me, sold that movie. How did you feel about the acting?
I mean, the acting overall was top notch. When it comes to horror based movies, I feel like a lot of time horror directors and a lot of people who write horror movies, they see these characters as cannon fodder. They don't see them so much as people. They just see them as how am I going to kill this one guy? So sometimes when you get these horror movies, you get a complete 2D characteristic or a caricature, of these actual people. And this one, not so much. I felt like each character stood on its own. There were characters that I liked, and I'm not gonna lie, there were characters that just downright annoyed me. And if that's not a mark of great acting, I don't know what is.
Honestly, the cast is great. And to speak back to the android character, Andy, he's played by David Johnson.
Okay,
he's such a really compelling take on especially the androids within the Alien universe, since there are, I guess, various models now. We get the Lance Henriksen model, Bishop, you get the Ash model. who certainly had a veneer of menace to him.
Oh yeah, I mean the one thing about like these automatons or like the falsies as they call them, these are androids that were built by androids. We built machines, but the machines built these things, and they didn't use machine parts like we did. They actually used like organic materials. That's why they bleed white. That's why they have that jelly-like material. These are machines created by machines. So already there's a huge distrust because mankind didn't make these things. I mean, I like how that feeling of menace was there too.
Honestly, yeah. Once like that kind of switch, like JR said, that there was definitely that sense of like we're not dealing with the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I think the main character played by Kaylee Spaney, I think she did a hell of a job in it. She's a really good actor. She was in also Priscilla, which was a fairly good movie that just was kind of short. She kind of gave her something, and she makes the best of it.
Oh wow!
Obviously, applause to the acting. And now we're looking at a film that is a sci-fi film. So realism is going to be limited to, I would probably just say, the human animal, as humans are there, and of course, but this is a sci-fi film, which does. Sometimes sci-fi does, though, have an air of reality as like potentials of what's to come in the future, especially looking at our technology now. And speaking about the robots making robots, I mean, that's not that far-fetched considering what is going on with manufacturing. You have a lot of machines making machines, and people keep saying, other people are taking our jobs or whatever. And it's like, no, machines are going to take over your jobs. And it's going to be us managing those machines. It's going to be a shift, all things considered. So there is some realism when you think about it, but nevertheless, sci-fi film, realism, most of it can go out the window. Which, in essence, though, it leads me right back to, I guess, the special effects, the makeup, the xenomorphs, all that. So let's just jump right into, how did this movie look? And the movie, I mean, I really didn't see much of a drastic change, I guess, when it comes to particularly the xenomorphs and the and the face huggers, because those things, I mean, they CGI'd them a bit, obviously, but you look at the way they were before, and I mean, I think they look fantastic. How did you feel about the special effects?
I mean, overall, I think that's a testimony to like the continuity of the whole thing. I don't like it when you go into like a project and you're like participating in a franchise and you just completely redesign the entire thing. The thing's about a horse and you're going to make a movie about a zebra. No, bro, that's not the assignment. Okay, so I liked how it felt like an homage to the Ridley Scott movies, the used technology. I mean, there's space travel, but those ships are filthy. They're used. They're worn out. The xenomorph designs felt very much like the same designs of the past franchise. Xenomorph is like an iconic creature, and you can't really redesign it. I mean, you could do like little tweaks here and there. So the design of the overall aliens were great itself. And without giving too much away, there was a new design, and that one, scary as hell.
Yeah.
But again, that's something we can get into when we do spoilers, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And honestly, it did have that similar vibe from it because the director, he really wanted it to look like the, I guess, Nostromo from the first film. But he also by chance, he found the people who would help make Aliens. He found some of those, the crew who helped make those xenomorphs. And so he got lucky where he kind of got them to reunite because they had all sort of separated. After, they didn't all work on the same, like Aliens, Alien 3 or Resurrection. He kind of brought them back for this film.
All right, guys. So now we're going to go right into the spoiler zone. And as we go ahead and do that, I want to go ahead and let's touch base. And, what did you like about the movie? What did you hate about the movie? And I'll go ahead and take the lead on this. Me personally, obviously, I just loved how the tone was. You know, it was reminiscent of the previous Alien movies, and it didn't change much when it came down to that. That was something I really did enjoy. It was a nice little, callback, flashback to the previous Alien movie. So it kind of gave me that. And as for hate, I just know that there's that one actor, there's one character that I just wanted him to die.
Bjorn?
Yeah, Bjorn.
He is played by Spike Fearn.
Spike Fearn. I hated him. I was like, just die already. That's how I felt about it as the movie went on. And then once he bit it, I was like, finally.
There's always a character in these Alien franchises that you want to die. I'll never forget the guy from Aliens, the one who was like, game over, man, it's game over. Pop him up right here. God, I wanted to kill that guy.
But and you know what, and so yeah, so I guess when it comes to love and hate, that's what I got. What about you guys?
Honestly, I felt the same way. As I stated earlier, my first impressions felt like I was reuniting with an old friend, and that goes back to what you were saying about the designs of it, the overall feel of it. Felt like an Alien movie. We didn't get to like an Alien side, say like 30, 40 minutes into a movie, and that's good because that's how you do an Alien movie. You don't see a xenomorph till later. Remember, folks, if the scenery looks different, there might be a xenomorph there. That being said, I have to say that they went ahead and they added little bits of Prometheus into the story by introducing the black goo again, us reverse engineering what was discovered in that movie, which was great because no matter whether you want to accept it or not, and I'm talking to the hardcore nerds, if you're out there going, what are you talking about? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about you. You know who you are. Prometheus is part of the Alien franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, it's part of it. And they included those tidbits and those storylines in this. And because they did it flawlessly until the Skinwalker dude came out. And I'm sorry, man, but just because you got no chin, a straight body, and more ribs than anybody can count, that's not fair. I felt like it was a little bit out of place. I was watching a bunch of xenomorphs go over there. If it was maybe a queen alien or a hybrid of a xenomorph and something else, I would have been cool with that. But this thing was just came out of left field. I felt like it kind of threw me off. I was watching an Alien movie, then I was watching Skinwalkers in space, and then after that movie was over, I went back to finish the Alien movie, and that threw me off. Hence why I think my friends turned a little weird.
Honestly, I think that did help to do something out of left field, because I feel that this is director work where his Evil Dead movie is great, but yet it didn't feel like he copied Sam Raimi. He didn't feel like he was borrowing from anybody else's work. He still tried to do something his own. And honestly, I think it worked to throw something like that in just to add some little bit extra horror there. Because it's like, yeah, you thought you're expecting this thing. You're going to get a queen. No, you're going to get something completely that's going to haunt your nightmares. And for a very long time.
So we can basically agree to the point that this plot is either going to be subversive in a good way or subversive in a bad way, and there's kind of like no in between, is there?
I think it helped. To me, I love the Alien franchise. Well, I can't say I love Resurrection, I feel bad for David Fincher for the third film. Fox just kind of butchered that film. But beyond that, there is the assembly cut, which is a little bit better. He likes that one better too. But to get back to the point, to say, honestly, this film felt like a great refresh to go, back to the feel of Alien.
So that's what you loved about it?
Yeah, it felt going back to the feel of Alien. You got these people who are, from Alien, those were people just doing a job. These were people who had a terrible job, and they're trying to leave where they're at, by however means they had to. And honestly, all that cast was like, yeah, I kind of can root for you guys, except for Bjorn, Yeah, except for Bjorn,
Bjorn can suck it.
Yes.
He did. Glad.
so that felt great to see getting like a cast of people you could kind of relate to, because there's these people trying to make something better for themselves. But unfortunately, they found something much worse and horrible.
And what did you hate about the movie? Because you told me a lot of tidbits that you love. Is there anything that at all that you kind of like wasn't your favorite?
I hated Bjorn, but I'm like, you know what? Horror movies always need someone who you can feel is a okay, fresh victim.
Yeah.
And then, you can have the rest of the cast that you go, I hope they don't die horribly.
Yeah.
Or not as, or less bad as that guy.
We're going to go ahead and jump into the grade, guys. Once again, if you haven't been here before, we don't do things on a 10-point scale. We do it on a grade scale of A+ to F-. So, what is it? This is where I get a chance to ask my guest, what grade do they give this movie? Jay, what grade do you give this movie?
Okay, well, as an Alien movie, I enjoyed it. Is it a bad movie? No, not at all. Is it a good movie? Yeah, it's okay. It's great. That being said, I am actually going to give it a B+. A B+, folks. And just because I give something a B+ doesn't mean I hate it. This is a movie that I actually see myself rewatching several times again. So B+, folks.
From my perspective, I give A+, because it gives me something that feels familiar to what you love from a franchise, but yet not in the same vein, where it's someone's original take on it with neat little nods to previous things. And honestly, it just felt fun, scary, and kind of something that I agree, rewatchable. Like I can find myself rewatching this again.
Awesome. Looking at your guys' points and everything like that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it an A-. And only for one particular reason. This didn't necessarily feel like a full-fledged individual movie. This felt like a setup. Like I feel like there's more aliens to come, and that's going to be a good thing if they are. So it's one of those, and of course you do have to watch at least Alien before you watch this one to really, really enjoy it as much as you should. And if you're not a fan of the franchise and you haven't seen any of them before, it's kind of, I think it's not crucial, but it would be good for anybody, any new watcher, to go ahead and watch it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an A-, just because I think this is a stepping stone to something else that's going to be to come, and I really hope so because I want to see more.
Yeah, hand the keys to the franchise to Fede Alvarez and just let him go.
Definitely. All right. So I guess if we delegate a little bit, I guess if we average this out, we got a B+, an A+, A-. What do you think? Maybe an A?
Perfect A, I would say.
I guess it balances out to an A. So there you go, guys. This movie, Alien Romulus, gets an A. So please go out there and watch it. Once again, this is Movie Grade. I'm your host, J.R. Alva, voice actor. I'm joined here today with
Jay Anderson, manager at PWL. Look us up at PWL Pro Wrestling Legacy at all social media.
And Victor E., writer at Modern Myth Comics.
Thank you guys for being here. And Vic, good to see you again, man. Thanks for watching.